The alarm bells echoed through the Luna Station Communication Center at 0347 hours, jolting Lieutenant Hyan Wu from his routine monitoring duty. His coffee cup rattled against the metal desk as he rushed to his workstation, fingers dancing across the holographic controls. The deep space array had picked up something unusual, a transmission from beyond the outer rim. "This is different," he muttered, adjusting the signal filters. The transmission was weak, fragmented, but definitely artificial. Not natural space phenomena. Not human either. The voice that emerged from the speakers was strange, musical, in a way that made his skin crawl. It spoke in patterns that the computer slowly translated into broken English, then Korean. Hyan-woo's eyes widened as he listened. "2. Anyone who can hear this message, ... We are dying. So our worlds burn. Our children cry for help that never comes. We are the Zephyrian Coalition, and we are not warriors. We are farmers, teachers, healers, but the Kron Empire shows no mercy to the peaceful." The transmission crackled with static, then continued. "We do not ask for soldiers. We do not ask for weapons. We ask only for mercy. Food for our starving. Medicine for our wounded. Ships to carry our refugees to safety. We have heard whispers of your species across the void. They say humans have kind hearts. Please, if you can hear this, help us." Hyan-woo sat frozen for a moment, then scrambled for his emergency communication device. This was beyond his authority. This was first contact with alien life, and they were asking for help. Director Minho arrived at the station within the hour. His gray hair disheveled from sleep, he listened to the transmission 3 times, his face growing more serious with each replay. The coordinates included in the message showed a star system nearly 200 light-years away. "How long has this been broadcasting?" Minho asked. "The computer estimates the signal has been traveling for 6 months, Hyan-woo replied. "Sir, if they sent this 6 months ago, they might already be ... dead, Minho finished grimly. "Or worse, give me a secure line to Earth Command. This goes straight to the top." The emergency session of the United Nations convened 18 hours. Later, representatives from every major nation filled the assembly hall in Geneva, their faces showing a mixture of excitement and fear. This was the moment humanity had dreamed of and dreaded, proof that we were not alone in the universe. Secretary General Dayun stood at the podium, her calm voice carrying across the silent chamber. "We have confirmed the authenticity of this transmission. The source is definitely extraterrestrial. The Zephyrian Coalition appears to be a peaceful alliance of 3 species facing extinction at the hands of a militaristic empire." The debate that followed was intense. Some delegates worried about the risks of getting involved in an alien war. Others questioned whether humanity had the resources to help beings so far away. A few suggested it might be a trap. Defense Minister Tommen rose to speak, his voice cutting through the arguments. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are being tested. Not by the aliens who need our help, but by ourselves. What kind of species do we want to be? One that turns away from suffering because it is inconvenient? Or one that extends a helping hand to those in need, regardless of their origin?" The vote was close, but decisive. Earth would send a humanitarian mission to the Zephyrian system. The fleet would carry medical supplies, food, and transport vessels for refugees. It would be humanity's first gift to the galaxy. Compassion Admiral Soyoung was chosen to lead the mission. She was Earth's most experienced deep space commander, veteran of the Mars conflicts who had earned respect for her tactical brilliance and moral integrity. As she stood in the Luna shipyard watching the loading of supplies, she felt the weight of history on her shoulders. 200,000 tons of medical supplies, her aide reported. Enough food to feed 500,000 beings for 6 months. Portable habitats for emergency shelters. The hospital ships Incheon, Seoul, and Busan are fully staffed with our best doctors and nurses. Soyoung nodded, her dark eyes reflecting the stars beyond the viewport. The escort vessels were minimal, just 6 frigates for protection against pirates or accidents. This was a mission of mercy, not war. Chief Medical Officer Wu Jin approached. "With the final crew roster, we have volunteers from every nation," he said proudly. Doctors, engineers, nutritionists, child psychologists, everyone wants to help. As the fleet prepared to depart, So-young addressed her crew over the ship's communication system. Today, we make history. We show the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength is not our weapons or our technology, but our willingness to help. Those in need. The Zephyrians are counting on us. Let's not disappoint them. The massive ships engaged their hyperspace drives, disappearing into the void with a flash of blue light. Behind them, Earth watched and waited, proud of the message. They were sending to the stars. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy not with conquest or threats, but with open hands and generous hearts. None of them knew they were flying into a trap that would change everything. The Zephyrian system looked peaceful when the Earth's fleet dropped out of hyperspace. Admiral So-young stood on the bridge of the hospital ship Incheon, studying the 3 planets that should have been filled with desperate refugees. Something felt wrong. The planets were too quiet, too empty. Try to contact the coalition government. Again, she ordered her communications officer. Lieutenant Haijin shook her head, frustration clear in her voice. Still nothing, Admiral. No response from any of the planets. It's just some automated signals from the surface. So-young frowned. When they had left Earth, the transmission had been clear. The Zephyrians needed help urgently. Their worlds were under attack. But now, as the fleet approached the inner system, there were no signs of battle, no refugee ships, no distress calls. Commander Jahan, what do your sensors show? She asked her intelligence officer. Jahan bent over his console, his fingers moving quickly across the controls. His face went pale as he read the results. Admiral, these signals from the planets, they're not distress beacons. They're military sensors. It's very advanced ones. What kind of military sensors? So-young demanded. The kind used to track incoming ships, Jahan replied, his voice tight with worry. Admiral, we're being watched. And there's something else. I'm detecting massive energy signatures hiding behind the gas giant in this system. Before So-young could respond, space around the humanitarian fleet exploded with light and fire. Dozens of alien warships decloaked, their black holes gleaming with deadly weapons. They were nothing like the peaceful Zephyrian vessels they had expected to find. These ships looked like predators, built for killing. All ships raised shields. So-young shouted into her communicator. Defensive positions. Protect the hospital ships. The 6 escort frigates moved quickly to shield the larger medical vessels, but they looked like toys compared to the alien warships surrounding them. The Earth fleet was outnumbered 10-1. The largest alien ship, a massive vessel covered. In weapon ports, opened a communication channel. The creature that appeared on the screen was nightmare fuel. Looked like a giant lizard walking on 2 legs with scarred skin and eyes that burned like red coals. When it spoke, its voice was like grinding metal. Soft humans, the alien hissed, its forked tongue flicking out between razor-sharp teeth. You answer cries for help like stupid animals walking into a trap? I am Warlord Grexthar of the Kron Empire. Your ships, your technology, your lives, everything belongs to us now. So-young felt her blood turn to ice, but she kept her voice steady. We came here to provide medical aid. We have food, medicine, supplies for refugees. We're not soldiers. Grexthar's laughter was a horrible sound that made the bridge crew flinch. Aid? There are no refugees here, foolish human. The Zephyrians have been dead for months. We killed them all and took their worlds. Their final screams helped us learn how to copy their voices perfectly. The alien's eyes glowed with evil pleasure as he continued. We studied your species through your own transmissions. So eager to help others, so willing to sacrifice yourselves for strangers. It made you perfect prey. We sent that distress call knowing you would come running to help. Chief Medical Officer Wu Jin stumbled backward, his face white with shock. You, ... you killed them all? The entire coalition? Billions of them, Grexthar said, savoring their horror. Men, women, children, we turned them all to ash. Their bones are dust, their cities are ruins. And soon we will visit your little planet Earth and do the same to your species. The alien leaned forward, his scarred face filling the screen. But first, We want to see what makes you humans so special. We will take your ships apart piece by piece. We'll study your technology. We'll learn your weaknesses. And then we will hunt down every last human in the galaxy. So-young felt something cold and hard settle in her chest. Not fear, but a terrible understanding. These creatures had used humanity's greatest strength, their desire to help others, as a weapon against them. It murdered billions of innocent beings and laughed about it. She opened a channel to all Earth vessels. All ships, this is Admiral So-young, to transmit everything we've learned back to Earth immediately. Use emergency priority codes. Full military authorization. Her communications officer looked confused. Admiral, we're a medical mission. We don't have military authorization codes. So-young's eyes never left the alien warlord's face. Now, send this message to Earth Defense Command. They expected aid. Tell them to prepare Earth's full fury. The quantum burst transmission shot through hyperspace just as the Kron ships opened fire. The first salvo destroyed the frigate Gwangju in a ball of fire, killing all 200 crew members instantly. The hospital ships began to burn under the alien assault. But far away, racing through the darkness between stars, a message was already reaching Earth, and when it arrived, something terrible would awaken. The Krone Empire had made a fatal mistake. They had attacked the wrong species. They were about to learn what happened when you made humans truly angry. The emergency message from Admiral So-young reached Earth at 0300 hours Geneva time. The quantum burst transmission carried her final words, recorded as her ship burned around her. The message was simple but devastating. The Zephyrians are dead. It was a trap. They killed everyone. Fleet Admiral Dong Haeon sat in the underground command center beneath Geneva, watching the last transmission from his daughter's fleet. His weathered face showed no emotion as he listened to So-young's calm voice even as explosions rocked her ship. "How many ships did we lose?" asked President Yoon-ji, her voice barely a whisper. 17 ships destroyed, Defense Minister Taemin reported, his hands shaking with rage. 4,000 people dead, including your daughter, Admiral. Only 3 damaged vessels escaped. The room fell silent. On the screens around them, they could see the burning wreckage of Earth's first humanitarian mission to the stars. The hospital ships that had carried hope and healing now drifted as twisted. Metal in the void, Donghain closed his eyes for a moment, thinking of his daughter. They had been the best of them, brave, kind, always ready to help others. The aliens had killed her because she tried to save lives. When he opened his eyes, they were cold as winter. "Madame President," he said quietly, "I request permission to activate the Sword Protocol." Every person in the room tensed. The Sword Protocol was Earth's most secret military plan. It had been designed for one purpose: total war against an alien threat. Most people on Earth did not even know it existed. "The Kron made a mistake," said Admiral Sung-ho, commander of Earth's hidden deep space fleet. "They think we're weak because we sent doctors instead of soldiers. They have no idea what humanity can do when we're truly angry." President Yoon-ji stood up slowly. Her face was calm, but her voice carried the weight of absolute authority. "Used our compassion against us. They murdered billions of innocent beings. They killed our people who only wanted to help." She paused, her eyes hard as steel. "Want to see what Earth is capable of? Let's show them." The order went out across the solar system faster than light itself. On Mars, massive shipyards, hidden beneath the planet's surface, began to hum with activity. Production lines that had been dormant for decades roared to life. In the asteroid belt, mining platforms switched from gathering resources for civilians to producing military-grade materials. On Luna, weapons installations that most humans did not know existed, powered up for the first time in 50 years. Moon's dark side was not just a research facility, it was a fortress, armed with weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Admiral Sung-ho activated the holographic display, showing Earth's true military strength. The peaceful exploration fleet the public knew about was just a tiny part of humanity's space forces. Hidden behind the mask of scientific research and humanitarian missions, Earth had built a war machine that could break worlds. The Third Deep Space Fleet is already moving, Sung-ho reported. 97 warships, including our newest dreadnought Seoul Busan, Thendaegu. They'll reach the Zephyrian system in 48 hours. Donghayan studied the tactical display, his mind shifting into the cold, calculating mode that had made him Earth's greatest military strategist. Not enough. This isn't just about winning a battle. It's about sending a message to every species in the galaxy. Deploy all our deep space fleets. Sir, that's 300 ships, Taemin protested. Our entire space navy. Exactly, Donghain replied, his smile sharp as a blade. The Krone Empire thinks they're hunters and we're prey. Time to show them what happens when the prey has bigger teeth. Across the solar system, humanity's true nature began to reveal itself. The species that had seemed so eager to help others possessed a darker side. They had spent centuries perfecting the art of war, and now that skill would be unleashed on those who had betrayed their trust. The crew of the Dreadnought Soul received their orders as they raced through hyperspace. Captain Minjae read the mission briefing to his officers, his voice steady despite the magnitude of what they were about to do. The Kron Empire has declared war on humanity by attacking our humanitarian mission. They have committed genocide. Against the Zephyrian coalition, they have shown no mercy to the innocent. He looked up at his crew, seeing the cold determination in their eyes. We will show them the same mercy they showed to 4,000 of our people. The weapons officer, Lieutenant Heywan, checked her systems one final time. The Soul carried enough firepower to turn a planet into dust. Its particle beam arrays could slice through enemy armor like paper. Its quantum torpedoes could bypass any known shield technology. All weapon systems ready, Captain, she reported. We're prepared to show them what human engineering can do. As the combined fleets of Earth's Space Navy moved through the darkness toward the Zephyrian system, a new chapter in galactic history was beginning. The species that had reached out in friendship had been betrayed. Now they would reach out with something else entirely. The Kron Empire was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength was not their compassion. It was their ability to turn that compassion into righteous fury when the innocent were threatened. The celebration on Warlord Grexthar's flagship ended abruptly when his sensors detected something impossible. 300 human warships dropped. Out of hyperspace in perfect formation, their sleek hulls gleaming with weapons the Kron had never seen before. This cannot be real, hissed his second-in-command, Vexen. The soft humans only had 17 ships. Where did these come from? The human fleet was massive, organized, and clearly built for war. These were not the hospital ships and cargo vessels he had destroyed so easily. Sensor error, he snarled, but his voice lacked conviction. No species builds fleets this large. We're the strongest military in the galaxy. At the center of the human formation, the Dreadnought Soul dwarfed even the largest Kron warship. On its bridge, Admiral Kyungmin stood perfectly still, his face showing no emotion as he studied the alien fleet that had murdered his friends. His tactical officer, Hiren, was running combat calculations. All ships report ready for combat. Admiral, she announced, we outnumber them 3-1. Kung Min opened a communication channel to the Kron fleet. When he spoke, his voice carried across space like a death sentence. This is Admiral Kungmin Lee of the Earth Defense Force. You attacked a humanitarian mission. You murdered 4,000 people who came to help others. Surrender now or face the consequences. Grexthar's response was exactly what the humans expected. You dare threaten the mighty Kron Empire? We have conquered 100 worlds. We will grind your bones to dust and I'm done talking, Kyungmin interrupted. All ships, you are free to fire. Show them what happens when they mistake kindness for weakness. The battle that followed was not really a battle. It was a demonstration of what happened when a species built for war faced enemies who had only ever fought peaceful civilizations. The Kron had conquered dozens of worlds, but they had never faced organized resistance. Their tactics were simple. Surround the enemy, use superior numbers, and rely on fear. Against the disciplined human fleet, these tactics were useless. Captain Ji-hoon commanded the destroyer Gwangju, named after the ship they had lost in the first attack. His crew worked with cold efficiency, their weapons officer Yujin targeting enemy weak points with surgical precision. Direct hit on their command center, Yujin reported as another Kron ship exploded in a ball of fire. There. not adapting to our tactics at all. The human weapons were terrifyingly effective. Particle beam arrays cut through Krone armor like it was paper. Quantum torpedoes passed through enemy shields as if they did not exist. Fusion warheads could crack the hull of any ship with a single hit. But it was the human tactics that truly destroyed the Krone fleet. The aliens had never faced an enemy that could think 3 moves ahead. Human ships moved like a pack of wolves, coordinating their attacks to trap and destroy their prey. Grexthar watched his fleet die around him, his confidence crumbling with each exploding ship. How is this possible? You sent medical supplies? We're supposed to be weak? Admiral Kungmin's image appeared on the Krone commander's screen. His eyes held no pity, no mercy, only cold judgment. We sent medical supplies because we thought you were civilized beings in need of help. We were wrong. You're nothing but animals that need to be put down. The Soul's main guns began to charge, their energy readings visible even through the chaos of battle. The massive dreadnought's weapons could destroy a city with a single shot. Grexthar had time for one final scream before his ship was vaporized, taking the last of his fleet with it, but Admiral Kyungmin was not finished. He opened a channel to all human ships, his voice carrying new orders. Fleet Command, this is Admiral Lee. Phase 1 complete. All Krone vessels in this system have been destroyed. Beginning Phase 2, we're going to their home system. Message was broadcast on all frequencies, ensuring that every Krone listening post in the sector would hear it. The humans were not just defending themselves, they were coming for the entire Krone Empire. On the bridge of the cruiser Incheon, Captain Sujin watched the debris field that had once been the Krone fleet. Her weapons officer, Young Ho, was already preparing for the next battle. Admirals. Orders are clear, she announced to her crew. We hunt down every Krone ship, every Krone base, every Krone world that supported this genocide. We show the galaxy what happens when you attack innocent people. The human fleet reformed and jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind only wreckage and the echoes of their promise. The Krone Empire had ruled through fear for 1,000 years, but now they were the ones who would know terror. Earth's children had been killed while trying to help others. The species that had reached out in friendship had been betrayed in the cruelest way possible. Now, humanity would teach the galaxy a lesson about the price of such betrayal. The Krone had awakened something they could not control. They had turned humanity's greatest strength, their desire to protect others, into their most terrible weapon. And now that weapon was coming for them. The crimson skies of Drathmar had never known fear. For 1,000 years, the Krone homeworld had been the center of an empire built on terror and conquest. Its massive fortress cities had never trembled under foreign weapons. Its people had never looked up at the stars with anything but arrogance. That changed when Earth's fleet arrived. Supreme Warlord Zethkal stood in his throne room, staring at the holographic display showing 300 human warships in perfect formation around his world. His generals cowered behind him, their earlier pride replaced by desperate panic. They destroyed everything, General Morgax reported, his voice shaking. 17 fleets. Gone. Every system we sent them to, they swept clean. They don't just win battles, they erase our forces completely. Zethkal had ruled the Krone Empire for 2 centuries. He had conquered dozens of worlds, enslaved billions of beings, and built his throne on the bones of his enemies. But he had never faced anything like these humans. They fought with a precision and fury that terrified him. How many ships do we have left? He demanded. 50 vessels, another general whispered. Maybe 60 if we count the patrol ships. They had 300. We cannot win this fight. On the Bridge of the Soul, Admiral Kungmin watched the Krone homeworld through the view screen. The planet was heavily defended with orbital platforms and defense stations. But after what the Krone had done to the Zephyrians, he felt no sympathy for them. Sir, the Krone are requesting to surrender, his communications officer reported. Put them through, Kyungmin replied coldly. Zethkal's image appeared on the screen. The alien leader tried to stand tall, but his fear was obvious. UN Commander, I am ready to negotiate terms for. There will be no negotiations, Kyungmin. Interrupted, these are the terms of your surrender. You will free every slave, every prisoner, every being you have conquered. You will dismantle your military. You will stand trial for the murder of the Zephyrin Coalition. You will provide payment to the families of every being you killed. The Kron leader's eyes blazed with fury. You cannot dictate terms to the Kron Empire. We are the rulers of this sector. You were the rulers, Kungmin corrected. Now you are defeated criminals. You have 1 hour to surrender completely, or we will show you why humanity doesn't. Negotiate with murderers. Across the planet's surface, the Kron population watched in terror as human ships moved into bombardment positions. For generations, they had been told they were the strongest species in the galaxy. Now they huddled in their cities, waiting for judgment from beings they had tried to hunt. Stefkel looked around his throne room at the generals and advisors who had helped him build an empire of horror. Their faces showed the same fear he felt. The Kron Empire was finished. We surrender, he whispered into the communicator. The liberation of the Kron slave worlds took 3 months. Human forces, supported by doctors and engineers, freed billions of beings from hundreds of different species. The sight of former slaves weeping as they were reunited with families they thought were dead was broadcast across the galaxy. Dr. Sumen, Admiral So Young's younger sister, worked tirelessly in the refugee camps. As she treated a young Zephyrian child who had somehow survived the genocide, she remembered her sisters. Final words. Tell them we tried to help. We did more than try, she whispered to the child. We won. The trial of the Kron leadership was held on the rebuilt Zephyrian homeworld. Zethkul and his generals faced justice for their crimes, while human engineers worked to repair the devastated planets. The galaxy watched as Earth demonstrated something new. The power to destroy completely. Combined with the wisdom to rebuild, Fleet Admiral Dong Haiyan stood before the newly formed Galactic Council, representing Earth at its first official meeting. The assembled species, former Kron subjects, neutral observers, and new allies listened with respect as he delivered humanity's message. We came in peace, he said, his voice carrying across the chamber. We offered help to those who needed it. We were betrayed, our people murdered, and billions of innocents slaughtered. But we want everyone to understand we do not seek to conquer. We seek justice. He gestured to the memorial wall, showing the faces of the 4,000 humans who had died. In the first attack, Earth will always extend its hand in friendship to those who need help. But to those who would use our kindness as a weapon against us, who would mistake our mercy for weakness, remember this: we are capable of great compassion. We are also capable of great anger. Choose carefully which one you want to see. The galaxy learned its lesson well. In the years that followed, the name Earth became known for 2 things: hope for those who needed protection, and terror for those who would harm the innocent. New civilizations that made contact with humanity were welcomed with open arms. Pirates and raiders who threatened peaceful worlds found themselves facing the full might of Earth's military. The balance was perfect. Kindness to friends, destruction to enemies. The Kron Empire was gone, its worlds now free and rebuilding. The Zephyrian Coalition lived again, their children playing in gardens where once there had been only ash. Across the galaxy, billions of beings slept peacefully, knowing that someone was watching over them. They had expected aid from Earth, instead. They had received something far more valuable, justice delivered with the full fury of a species that would never allow evil to triumph over good.